dreams of music and makeup, or welcome here if this is your first time. I'm Jacqueline. I'm really glad to have you here. And if this is your first time, or if you are a repeat offender of watching my videos and not subscribing, I know who you are because I can see my analytics and I can see that 85% of you that are watching these videos aren't even subscribed. So I don't know what you're waiting for, but come on. I'm putting in all the work. You guys gotta come along for the ride. This is so much fun. I would love for you to be informed when I post new videos so you don't have to go searching for them. I do have over 50 videos on my channel now, so if you haven't been around very long, there's plenty for you to catch up on. If you are already subscribed and you're not hearing from me, click that bell next to the subscribe button to be notified of all my new uploads. I would love for you to be in the loop. Moving on. I'm wearing a very bold lip color. This is the Wet n Wild Gel Lip Liner in the shade Plum Together. This is so comfortable and just the right level of shine to where it doesn't make my lips look dry. It's so nice. And this color is gorgeous, if I do say so myself. Anyway, today is not a makeup or a skincare video. Today is something a little bit different. I'm going to be showing you guys my fragrance collection. Though it's not that extravagant or huge, I just wanted to share it with you guys because, like I've mentioned before, sometimes curiosity gets the best of me. I really enjoy watching these videos on other people's channels and seeing what fragrances they like, because some we might have in common and then other ones I'm like, oh, I actually don't care for that. And just seeing how different people like different things. Scent is one of those things that's very, very personal. You can't make someone like a scent that they don't like. People have so many associations that run so deeply within the neurological parts of you that you cannot undo scent memory. So scents that you associate with things, there's nothing that can undo that except like literal brain damage. I learned a lot more about this when I developed bursitis in my shoulder as a makeup artist. So I was working for Sephora. I was doing makeup artistry about 40 hours a week. And this motion, that much, is a lot. So I developed bursitis in my dominant shoulder. Then transferred to the fragrance department of my Sephora. So that was really, really difficult. We had a need for a person over there, so I went there, but I did not know hardly anything about fragrance. It's a very, very, very difficult thing to sell. It was very challenging. I am not a salesperson. I've said that before. Like I had no issue selling makeup because I can show you how to use it. The product sells itself. Like I'm not going to show you something that I don't think performs well. That's just how I am. And they have to make an emotional connection to the fragrance. You can't facilitate that. You can't just pick one and have it be over. There were people that had to leave and come back several times because they would get to the point where they're like getting a headache because they couldn't find their fragrance yet. And they had smelled so many. And that's how it gets. You start to get under a little bit of pressure as that salesperson to sell them one within like 5 spritzes, because otherwise you're going to overwhelm them and then they leave. It was a very challenging position to be in. I learned a lot, and I learned a lot about fragrance. And over the time I was there, I did get some fragrance as gratis. I think there's only one that I still have in here. Basically, if you're not familiar with what gratis is, the people who work for Sephora get probably $1,500 to $2,000 worth a year in free makeup. Some of that will be fragrance, especially if you work in the fragrance department. You have priority on those things. Basically, whatever department you're in, you definitely get that stuff. And then if there's any overflow, the other departments might get that too. Another side note, I am totally sick right now. I'm trying to get over it. I am on my 2nd round of antibiotics. I have a sinus infection. I've had it for 6 weeks, and I am now on my 2nd round of antibiotics and a steroid. So I am pretty miserable. If I seem weird in these couple of videos, I'm really sorry. I'm trying to film these on a day where I feel decent because I just have no idea how I'm gonna feel. Keep me in your thoughts and prayers, if you don't mind. I'm feeling pretty rotten right now. But yeah, I thought we would talk about fragrance because that's a happy thing. If you enjoy my recommendations, if you enjoy fragrances, if you enjoy just learning other little tidbits about YouTubers that you enjoy watching, you're in the right place. Okay, let's start off with the one that I've mentioned before, and this is a recent purchase. This is the Atelier Cologne Cedar Atlas. This is actually a unisex fragrance, the only unisex fragrance that I currently own. This smells like cedar and citrus to me. I mean, there's a little hint of floral, but it really is woodsy and fresh. It's delicious. To me, this is holidays in a fragrance. I mean, not specifically Christmas. It doesn't smell like cinnamon spice or anything like that. It's a nice, warm alternative for these kind of cooler months, and I've been definitely enjoying this. You can see my bottle is already down quite a little bit because I've been using this constantly. I love this. The next fragrance that I own, this one is the one that was given to me for free at my old job. This one was a gratis. This is Stella McCartney's Eau de Twily. And this is a rose fragrance. It's very youthful, slightly powdery. Mostly it just smells like rose. It's very light and young and fresh while still being a rose fragrance. A lot of times rose fragrances smell very mature. This one does not to me. This is the lighter version, so if you're not familiar with eau de parfum versus eau de toilette, the toilettes are lesser concentration of the perfume oil. Basically, perfume is mostly alcohol to carry it to your skin and evaporate, but basically it's a small amount of fragrance oil inside the mixture that determines what it's called. And the eau de parfums have a higher concentration of the fragrance in it. If you struggle with not being able to smell a fragrance on you, you might think that it's going away. You might think that it's wearing off. Really, what's going on is an anatomical thing. It has not anything to do with the fragrance, and it has everything to do with your olfactory system. It has everything to do with the inside of your nose. If you walk into a bakery, you get hit in the face with that like fresh bread smell or fresh donuts or whatever. But when you hang out in there, if you're in there for 15-20 minutes, if you're getting coffee with a friend, it doesn't smell like that for very long, does it? That's because your nose stops sending the message after a few minutes of being in that smell, because it's irrelevant now. You've acclimated to that, and that would just be a distracting signal. Your mind is a very complicated piece of machinery, and it just doesn't need that bit of information anymore. So you stop noticing the smell. But if you leave and come back, it smells fantastic again, doesn't it? You have to think of it in a similar way. If you're just noticing that you can't smell your fragrance anymore throughout the day, think of it this way. You're putting on your fragrance, then you're basically walking around in this cloud of smell all day. After the first 20 minutes, your body stops seeing that as a relevant thing to tell you, so you don't smell it anymore. Does that make sense? That's why you think that your fragrance is not there. So if you feel like a fragrance is not wearing well on you, ask someone else if they can smell your fragrance, because I guarantee you it's just you becoming so used to it that you don't smell it anymore. That's just how our nose and our brain works. You should be putting it on moisturized skin. If your fragrance is not lasting throughout the day, I guarantee you that is why. Either your skin is not hydrated or you are not hydrated because you don't drink enough water. Because the perfume is in an oil, if there is no oil on your skin and your skin is parched, your body's just going to suck up that oil with the fragrance in it because it needs that oil so badly. So you need to put lotion or oil or something like that on your skin before you apply your fragrance so that it has something to adhere to. Otherwise, your fragrance just disappears. Applying a fragrance to hydrated skin is important, unless you are someone who applies fragrance to your clothes, in which case, if you change your clothes, you have to reapply your fragrance. I wouldn't recommend spraying fragrance on your clothes because some fabrics and stuff are prone to stain with fragrances. They are high in alcohol content, so you want to make sure that you test that on a small area before you stain a shirt. The next fragrance that I own is by a brand called Kenzo. And this fragrance is called Flower in the Air. This is a funky bottle. The lid goes around the top so that it can't be pushed down. It's not a lid. It's very interesting. So, and I think it's cool that it's not perfectly round. It's kind of a strange shape. It has the flower decor infused in the acrylic on the top. I like that. I can't even describe this fragrance. It is so complex to me. It smells like an English garden. Like that probably doesn't make sense to anyone but me, but this just smells like if you walk into a garden full of blooming flowers, like this is what it smells like. There's none of that weird after floral kind of death smell. I don't know if that makes sense to anyone else. I find that a lot of floral fragrances, particularly gardenia fragrances, have this like after smell that almost smells like a funeral home to me. It's just something really powdery and gross. Like I can't even put it into words, but it's nasty. And this fragrance lacks that altogether. This is the first and only fragrance that was ever bought for me, and my husband did purchase this for me, and he purchased it for me while he was in Europe. This is a very, very strong fragrance. This is an eau de parfum, and this is 1.7 ounces, in case you're curious on the size of this thing. It is just so potent. It's one of those fragrances where if I spray it more than once, I feel like I'm overdoing it because it's just so strong and so potent, but it's beautiful. I really enjoy this one. It's a very warm and inviting floral scent, but you definitely want to go light on it if you are going to wear this one. This is the first fragrance I purchased as a Sephora employee. I really wish it wasn't, just because now I have to try to say it, and I am not French. This is an eau de parfum, and I'm going to let you look at it first because it's beautiful. I mean, the bottle is beautiful. I think it's gorgeous. It looks like a gem. I think it's really cool, and it has these little like grooves so you don't drop it. But you can see why I'm struggling with that name. So it's basically, in French, angel or demon, the secret. Ange ou démon, le secret? I don't know. I am terrible. I am terrible at French. I took Spanish. This is like the everything perfume. It has a little bit of floral. It has a little bit of musk. It has a little bit of citrus. It has a little bit of sweet to it. On me, it goes really musky. I don't know. Something with my chemistry, it just does. This fragrance is one of the most interesting fragrances that I have ever smelled in my life, and this was probably one of my top sellers when I worked in the fragrance department, just because of its uniqueness. It smells different on everyone, obviously. That all has to do with your pH and your body chemistry and how the scent kind of melds with you over time. So any fragrance you're testing out, make sure to give it a good 15 minutes to settle into your skin before you judge what it smells like, because it's not the same. This fragrance is incredible. And this is the smaller size. This is the 1 ounce size. It does come in a 1.7 ounce size as well. Everyone always asks me what I'm wearing when I wear this, and I really need to learn how to say it so that I can stop being embarrassed when people ask me. I saved my favorite for last. I hope you don't mind. I figured that was the fairest way to do it. This is Lancome La Vieille Belle. Has the little like French scarf and everything. It's adorable. This is the ideal fragrance for me. This is so light and sweet and sophisticated. It does smell a little bit powdery, like when you spray it on a paper to smell it for the first time, it does smell powdery. On the skin, it does not take on that quality nearly as much. On me, it's not powdery at all. This smells entirely differently on my chemistry. This is what I wear layered with that Smoothie Star Soap and Glory body cream that I talk about in all my empties videos. This and that together are what I usually smell like. This does smell very different on me. I'm not sure what other fragrance it resembles, but it doesn't smell exactly like it does in the bottle when I wear it. I get asked a lot what I'm wearing, and sometimes when I tell people what it is, they're like, oh, it's never smelled like that before. It stays on me all day. I recently had to repurchase this. I was really sad because I was supposed to purchase it at an even better price, but then when I purchased it, I couldn't return it, and it was this whole thing. I don't know why I'm telling you this. I totally forgot one, and I mentioned this in another video, but this is Philosophy's Fresh Cream. This is the only other fragrance that I own at the moment, and I love this. I don't like wearing it so much on its own. I used to, but it's just a little too childish. So I enjoy layering it with other things, like I'll layer it with the Stella McCartney sometimes. I'll layer it with the Atelier Cedar Atlas if this is feeling a little masculine for me. It's lovely. If you enjoy having a fragrance that mixes well with others, this is one that is good to go. I hope you enjoyed this video. This was a little different style for us. Let me know what you thought down below. If you did enjoy it, please give this video a big thumbs up so that I know, and subscribe if you haven't already. Like I said, I know you guys aren't subscribing. Come on, get with it, or tell me what I can do better so we can get you over here. I hope you guys are having an awesome day or evening wherever you are. I hope you keep dreaming, and I'll see you in my next video.